If there ever was a draft to trade up in, this one is it. Dallas still stinks. Yo, by the way, Dingbat here, and this draft is almost here, and it's looking like the perfect draft for Howie Roseman to do Howie Roseman things and trade up. Why should he trade up in this draft? Because everybody's looking to trade back. And when everybody goes one way, the one thing you know about Howie Roseman, he goes the other way. Now, we're going to get into it in a second, but before we do that, a few things. First off, we got to bring it back. If you're new to the channel, if you've been on for a while, check, double moonwalk check. Make sure you're still subscribed and all that stuff. The shenanigans are outrageous right now. Make sure you're still subscribed and everything. It is going to be a busy week. You don't want to miss it. Secondly, we got to give a congratulations to one Jalen Hurts. That's right, the franchise. One of the best top 2 quarterbacks in the league. We got to congratulate him because the man just got married. Eagles Nation wrote this. Jalen Hurts announced in his just released exclusive with Men's Health that he's officially a married man. By the time this interview publishes, you can call her my wife. So we've definitely got to give Mr. and Mrs. Hurts a congratulations. That's a wonderful thing. Congratulations to Jalen Hurts. Also, we got to look at this, and I know a lot of people are going to be happy about this. I'm okay with this, okay? The Eagles are hosting Penn State safety Kevin Winston Jr. on a pre-draft visit. So even though the pre-draft visits have been over for about a week, we're still getting leaked names of players that have actually come in for a visit, okay? We now know that the Eagles did meet with Walter Nolan. Now it's coming out, Kevin Winston Jr. And I like Kevin Winston Jr. a lot. I do. Now, he's coming off injury. You know, that's the one thing that slows me down, because what I want out of this draft is I want a guy that's going to contribute right away. I'm spoiled. I'm spoiled from last year with with Cooper DeJean. I say you've got one of the best defensive coaching staffs in the NFL. They develop guys tremendously. I want to come out of day one of this draft with a guy that's going to contribute. Okay? So I wonder if Kevin Winston Jr., if he would be ready right away. It may take a year. However, I'm not opposed to taking 2 safeties in this draft. I'm not opposed to it. So if you wanted to go, too early, 2 safeties at some point in this draft, I'm down with it. But Kevin Winston Jr., very talented safety, and if he regain his health down in the long run, I think he'll be a tremendous asset. But he has come in for a visit, and we keep talking about these visits because usually with the Eagles, they draft guys that they brought in for a visit. Only twice in like the last 7-something years or something like that, they haven't done it. One was during the whole COVID thing. Devontae Smith, there were no visits. And then Andre Dillard, they didn't have a visit there. That was a panic pick, by the way. However, the Eagles, it looks like they'll draft off that board. And here's what the Eagles have going into this draft. We got pick 32, round 1, pick 64, round 2, pick 96, round 3, pick 134, round 4, and then you have 4 fifth-round picks. They won't draft all these players. They're going to trade some of these picks, whether that's moving up in the first round, whether that's moving a couple of those fifths to get back up in the third, maybe get a couple fourth-round picks. It's going to be interesting. I love this stuff, man. This stuff is great. I can't wait for this to go down. But, it's funny because we've talked about Howie trading out of the first round, Howie trading up in the first round. The least thing that we talk about is actually staying at 32. I still don't think that they're going to do it. And I'll tell you what, I'm at the point now where I would rather stay at 32 than trade out of the first round, because I would rather get a guy with that extra year on his contract. But I don't think that's going to happen. I think the Eagles are trading up, okay? And the reason I think they're trading up is, one of the reasons is, that's Howie's MO, okay? You've got 20-something, you got 20 picks over the next 2 years. You're not going to use all those picks. You've got third-round picks that could be really, really valuable next year that you could throw in a trade to get up in that first round. I just don't see the Eagles sitting. The other reason is it's going to cost you a lot less to go up in the first round than usual years. You know, there's those draft charts, and you can look at them and see how many points each pick is and try to figure out trade. But truthfully, a lot of it depends on what teams are wanting to do. Teams want to get out and move back. Sometimes it's cheaper to get on up. When there's a lot of quarterbacks and top guys, it gets more expensive. So, in some ways, I think the Eagles and Howie, they could look to move up in this draft, and I think they look at it and they say it's a bargain. Howie does the opposite. Howie creates trends, okay? Last year, here's a perfect example, and I knew this was going to happen. For 2 years, I talked about this. You know, the running back position was very devalued, and it was like, it's getting to the point where Howie's going to start looking at these running backs and saying, there's a value in going out and getting a guy. Of course, text me while I'm here. Yeah, sure. You know, that's kind of what Howie does. So he saw that the running back position got to a certain point where it was so devalued, he had to go out and get Saquon. Now, he would have done that anyways, but it is what it is. Now, I will say this. Daniel Jeremiah, a guy I really like, right? I like him. I respect him. I like a lot of his takes. He thinks that Howie may try to move up, actually maybe way higher than I'm thinking. He's thinking that a guy like Jalon Walker could actually drop, which I would be shocked if he gets past 12 or 13, okay? But he's talking about Jalon Walker dropping, you know, to a point where Howie decides to go up and get him. And if Howie Roseman could come out of this draft with Jalon Walker, holy crap, that would be an amazing pick. And look, if he could get to like 16, 17, I think Howie tries to work his magic. You know, most people think a team like Minnesota is going to try to trade out. I think there's going to be quite a few teams. I think what you're going to see in this draft is, I think you'll see a lot of edge rushers go early, and then a lot of teams try to trade back also. And if somehow Jalon Walker could fall just a little bit, Howie may make a move. Here's what Daniel Jeremiah said. He said, I think, and he's talking about the Eagles, he goes, I think Howie's, you know, he's going to move up, Jeremiah said. I think there's so many people that want to get out in this draft that are trading back. What has Howie done his entire career? He zigged when everyone has zagged. And he's going to be able to see if we have a premier player start to slip, man, they're armed. They're armed and ready to go. I'm sure we go. I'm sure we get to it, because I can't read today because I need to get glasses. But he goes, I'm sure we get to it because we always talk about what could happen there and what the predictions might be. It's impossible to make a prediction on who is going to be there at 32, but I will make this prediction that if for some reason people overthink Jalon Walker like they overthought Nolan Smith, he's not big enough and in his size, if he starts to drift and drop, I'm like, oh my gosh, they could go do the exact same thing all over again. Get me Jalon Walker, I'm happy. Now, you want to get me Jalon Walker with like Makumbo, or even go out and get Kevin Winston Jr., you know, in the second or third round, I'm good with that too. That would be an amazing, amazing thing. And I do think Howie's going up in this draft. I do. I think that it just makes sense for the Eagles to do it. Now, the one caveat could be that if for some reason they haven't made a move and they're at 32, okay, That 32 pick could become very interesting for teams like the Giants, teams that are looking and need to go up and get a quarterback if a quarterback drops. I keep hearing weird things with Shedeur Sanders. Like, he'll go top 10, he's going to fall later in top 10. Some people say he's going to fall late, maybe fall out of the first round. I don't know what is real, what is draft just nonsense at this point. However, if something like that happens and you have quarterbacks on the board, 32 can become a very interesting pick, because while a bunch of teams look to move out of the first round, that 32nd pick for teams who need a quarterback all of a sudden could become very valuable. So Howie's going to do what Howie does. He is going to basically control the narrative. He is going to do the opposite of what everybody does, and he's going to take advantage of the situation. If I was the other GMs, I'd be very, very scared of Howie Roseman the next few days, because he's about to make them all look like a fool. With that said, take care. Talk to you later, of course. Don't be a dingbat. Remember, it's Howie Vision. We're all just living in it. I saw WIP, and they're trying to promote the Eagles going and getting a quarterback in the second round. Do it all over again. Do like you did with Jalen Hurts. You will get the same reaction that you got from me a few years ago when they did that with Jalen Hurts. If they take a quarterback in the second round, there is no need to take a quarterback in round 2. Get players that will help this team. Get players that will provide depth for this team. Do some of these people want to actually go back and win a Super Bowl, or do you want to take the year off? I'm trying to win another Super Bowl, man. Denzel Washington, out. That's all, folks.
The brother screwed us.